Hey everyone, Diavolo here, and welcome back to the spoilers that have just dropped for chapter 217 of Tokyo Revengers. If you guys are new around here and want to keep up to date with the latest Tokyo Revengers spoilers, reviews, and more, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and also be sure to leave a like on the video as well, as it really helps out with the algorithm and pushes my stuff to a bunch of new amazing people. I've also got a Discord server if you want to join that, where I will share obviously the chapter links after they come out so you guys can read them there, along with the spoilers when they come out as well. But yeah, check that out if you guys are interested, but enough of that, let's get into these spoilers. So with chapter 217 of Tokyo Revengers, there are a bunch of different rumors that have been going around this week, and I guess some kind of spoilers that have just been confirmed on the Japanese side of Google. So bear with me, as I've obviously got to use Google Translate to read these, and a lot of the words like Takemichi comes up as martial arts, so a lot of the time they can be quite difficult to read. But putting that aside, we're going to get straight into these ones that have kind of been confirmed and are most likely to happen throughout this chapter, and then we'll touch on kind of the rumors and predictions that I see obviously probably coming true now with the massive revelation that we've been given in this last chapter, with Takemichi actually being able to see snippets of the future now. But it appears that apparently Akashi Senju, obviously that's Kawiragi Senju, but her real name Akashi Senju, it says here that it seems they don't get along well with each other, even if they ask Senpo, which I'm assuming is Akashi. If someone can correct me down below, because a lot of the time they have like kind of different translations for some kind of the names in Japan, so if someone lets me know who Senpo is down below, then that would be great. But apparently if they ask Senpo directly about Sanzu, they don't get on well enough to kind of get any answer out of him. I'm either assuming that means Akashi or another member of the Brahmin force. It's kind of unknown, or I don't really know who that possible person is, but obviously here it's saying that their surnames are also different, so obviously something has happened in the past between Kawiragi Senju and Akashi along with Sanzu, so I'm wondering what's happened between those three and what split them up here. This might be Takemichi talking to someone, it looks like, as here it says, "You may not live with them," so it's a good idea to ask Yamagishi a bad dictionary. So obviously, as we know with Yamagishi, he's known as like the delinquent dictionary, as he kind of seems to know everything that's kind of going on at specific moments with the delinquent gangs in the area, and has a good knowledge about their leaders and stuff. So it appears that they're probably going to go to Yamagishi this chapter and ask him probably some questions. So I'd imagine that they're at school this chapter, and that this is probably some kind of conversation that Takemichi is actually having with Chifuyu, especially the first part about where it says, you know, the whole surnames thing. I'd imagine that that's kind of some kind of conversation between Chifuyu and Takemichi, especially the fact that it says you may not live with them. So I'm assuming that it's, yeah, Takemichi talking to someone at high school about the situation he's in, and the only actual person that makes sense in being is Chifuyu. And apparently here we will find out the reason for the wound on Sanzu's mouth and see how dangerous he actually is. So we're going to find out apparently how he got his wound on his mouth and how dangerous he can possibly be. Obviously we know how dangerous he is kind of already with what he did to the former, you know, 5th Division captain of Tomen, Mudo, and cutting him down with that samurai sword. So we kind of already know how dangerous he is, but I wonder what else is going to be revealed to us, and possibly maybe that he even did these wounds to him himself. I don't imagine that being the case. I imagine that he got them through some kind of way that will be explained to us most likely in this kind of chapter through Yamagishi, as he seems to be the one that knows things. So I guess some kind of theories or rumors that have been going around the community is the idea that Mikey and Takemichi can actually see the future kind of randomly or suddenly, like it might randomly happen when specific things happen, like when Takemichi first returned back to this timeline, or returned to this timeline, and Mikey automatically knew somehow. It's probably that he was given some kind of phenomenon or seen some kind of flash forward or something along those lines, and that's the reasoning on how he knew that Takemichi had returned to this time. And it's not the exact fact that Mikey is actually a time traveler like a lot of people are thinking. So I'm guessing that that's kind of cutting that theory out here, and this is probably to go around that entire fact that Takemichi's not going to be able to time leap throughout this arc. So how are we going to know, you know, when he's improving the future and things like that? And obviously we're going to be getting it through this kind of future flash forwards, and that makes the most sense, because because obviously how is he going to get to Mikey when they're kind of fighting against each other, or kind of against each other right now, and shake his hand so that he can time travel to the future and then somehow find Mikey again when he's probably dead, if it's still going with that future timeline that has happened, and you know, then go back to try and fix it. It just doesn't make sense that way. So having this possibility of being able to see future glimpses when super important moments happen kind of makes sense, and it will enable Takemichi and us to kind of get a grasp on what's happening in the future and an understanding of what's actually going on and if anything's actually changing. And apparently it's not going to be long before Takemichi realizes this kind of future prediction thing, that specific moments or like things that he says to other people throughout the series are going to react in different outcomes. Just like in the last chapter, him obviously stating that he's going to go to this meeting and have some more, you know, chocolate ice cream with Sanzu again, has given him this flash forward and enabled him to see the future, because possibly maybe something has changed. Like maybe in the original timeline in the past, he didn't ever decide to go with her, and this had tried happening before, but he had purposely or always decided to never, you know, go with Brahman before and live his own life with everyone else from, say, Toman. And then this has ended up happening now that he's chosen, I guess, a different timeline or a path to go down. A few other things that I kind of want to go over is Hanma and his relation to this arc and where he might be coming in. In chapter 205, Hanma says at obviously Kisaki's grave, "Let me tell you a story of the Periot and the Reaper." And apparently this Periot can mean entertainer or like comedian or just something along those specific lines, director, etc. And Hanma's entire like meaning for life is pretty much not to have a dull life. And with Kisaki's plans were always fun for Hanma to watch, you know, unfold. And now that Kisaki has died, I guess his source of entertainment has gone completely. But now what if the story of the Period and the Reaper is the story of actually Hanma and Mikey, referring to the fact that Hanma is like a director similar to Kisaki, pulling the strings while Mikey lets loose, murdering all as the Reaper. Just a thought, obviously. This could also apply to Hanma and Takemichi. If like people think Hanma has been the person who has actually been in control from the beginning, killing all of Takemichi's loved ones in a game while he constantly makes Takemichi try to save them. And again, this is contradicted with the induction that Sanzu could even be the possible force that is constantly pushing Mikey towards his dark impulses. As with Sanzu, he is someone who like obviously admires Mikey more than anyone else that we've seen so far in the story, or apparently according to him, he admires Mikey more than anything. And he's someone that would never actually stand in the way of Mikey and kind of test him or tell Mikey to stop to actually, you know, try and help him. But Takemichi is someone who's actually willing to tell Mikey, you know, to stop when he's gone too far, as we've seen in the past, like in the Tenjiku arc, or even before that at the start of the series between Draken and Mikey, where, you know, Mikey said to him if he ever goes too far, he's out of line, to, you know, tell him to stop when he's gone too far, you know, to like pretty much to snap him back into line. So there are a lot of possibilities, but I know and I've got a feeling that Hanma isn't out of the story yet. But anyway, I'd love to know what you guys all think down in the comment section below. And if you are new around here and want to keep up to date with the latest Tokyo Revengers reviews, spoilers, and more, then make sure you hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to leave a like on the video as well, as it really helps out with the algorithm and pushes my stuff to a bunch of new amazing people. And of course, remember to join my Discord, which I'll leave a link to in the comment section down below, where you'll be able to get the links for each chapter when they do come out. But anyway, enough of that. For now, it's been your professional degenerate, Diavolo, and I'll see you all in a bit. Bye.